Yeah, fellas, you read the title. An idiot who refused to listen is now going to lose his job at work because he fucked with a bitch at work. And the title is called Sexual Harassment at Work as Retaliation. I have no details on what happened. All he wrote was, "You all warned me. Anything I should know to prepare for? HR is doing an investigation." And all the comments state he will be fired to limit the company's liability and protect themselves from a lawsuit. One fellow made a good point. He said, never chase girls at work, never. If things ever turn south, then bitterness and resentment can cause stuff like this to happen, yes. Let's see, where just the comments that I wanted to relay to you. Oh, different post. It's said that it's always easier to get a new job while you still have one. Guess what? This guy is going to get fired. He doesn't have a replacement job. And guess what? Do you think a company is going to hire him? Do you think a company is going to hire him after they read that he was terminated because of scandalous behavior at work? You not only lose your job, you ruin your career. Do you guys now see how serious this shit is? You idiots who do this at work. It's not just a matter of replacing a job. How do you replace a job when you're unemployed? It's hard to get a new job when you're unemployed. They ask you, what happened to your last job. They will call to find out. You think they don't call? Are you kidding? They even read your Facebook pages these days to see if you're one of those kind of party people. It saves them a lot of money to do that. So this idiot has just fucked up his life. If a company is big enough to have an HR, that means that was a good job. Yeah. All because he couldn't control his dick at work. Act like a little bitch. No, a little boy. Now his entire life has to pay for it. How's he going to pay for his rent? Let's say he has a real nice apartment, a nice car. He'll get what unemployment is only a percentage of what you made. Just enough to buy some food, maybe some gas money while you look for another job. But think about it. How's he going to pay his rent? His car note? What if he owned a house? He could lose that house all because he fucked around at work. He'd be out in the streets or going back to live with mommy and daddy. That's the worst for a real man. Sure, but he's not a real man, obviously, because he did something that a male would do, which is a male that grew up. Didn't become a man. He just got older, still doing childish things. No money for fun, no money to go out to the clubs, no money hunting women, no money to go to the movies, no money for the cable bill, so he can't get online to play online games. Just barely enough money to make himself potatoes. That's what you do when you're poor. You buy a sack of potatoes, you cook them every day. Maybe some chicken backs, because they're cheap. They got a little bit of meat on the chicken backs. By the way, that's how I ate it one time. Potatoes and chicken backs. That's when I was I married then? Just got married? And that was actually before I got married to my ex-wife. My mom gave me a choice. You're not coming in and going in my house. So I chose the house of the pussy. I chose wrong. This idiot totally fucked his life up. You know how it's going to take? He's going to have a couple jobs to erase that off his employment record, because they're going to go back to the last employers you ever had. And if he doesn't do the time right, they ask, from what date to what date. There's going to be a gap in time if he doesn't talk about it. They go back there and find out what he did. Think they're going to hire him, take a chance? Do you know how expensive it is? These kind of lawsuits, they cost the company tons of money. All because some jackass, some dickhead. I've warned you guys and warned you guys about this bullshit. And I still get people asking me questions about it. I even said way back in 2008, this is my pet peeve when people ask me questions about that. I said it back in 2005, 2006, 2007. This is my pet peeve when people ask me about this. It makes no sense why people even go down that path, because I think like a business. I don't think like a male. Do you think I would have produced the kind of online dating profile if I thought like a dude, a male? No, I think like a man. This knucklehead. This idiot. What's up, Eric? Jovina, there's a live camera here, so yeah. Let's turn this way so I think you can walk by without them. Now I saw you. Oh God, I can't believe people still do that to this day. Although, I guess it's because people are just, kind of stupid. Also, there's a lot of idiots that come to the video channel here. They don't know the rules of the game, that you don't fuck with girls at work. I think a few weeks ago I talked about how there's a psychological, I don't remember what it was called, but it happens when you work in environments around people. You see them every day for 8 hours. You spend more time with them than you do your wives sometimes. But it's a psychological thing, and I'm not doing those psychological things. Some psychology shit. I'm not gonna bow down to that bullshit. Crushing on bitches at work. Bring my glasses out of the bedroom, Jovina. I tend to see things realistically. If people, Nitro, think it's negative, they couldn't handle the truth. Sure, I see the good things every day in terms of the little stuff like the sun shining and such, but for me, my life isn't great. I see the negative because life gives me more difficulty and obstacles. That's because of your mindset. If life is giving you this, that means it's coming from inside of you. I need for you to understand that truth. Once you get that truth, you'll start to change. Once you make that connection, you've got to understand that this is because of what's going on inside of you. I look at my life from both sides, and negative is more dominant. Yes. That's why life is handing you all this shit. So what do starving African children have to learn? It's not the children's fault that they are starving. By the way, that's actually a myth too. There's tons of food in Africa. What you see is the East African desert people. But you look at the rest of Africa, people there's tons of food in Africa. It's when they come to the cities that they may have problems like, getting work. But they can go back to their native ways and feed themselves. That's a whole big myth. They had those videos. Yeah. You guys got suckered on that shit. They had the fly in the kids' eyes. You notice how it was a desert environment though? That desert is near the Saharan desert, and it was out east. Let's see. I've changed my beliefs, but my life is still. Nope, you haven't. You just said above that you're negative still. Your negative is dominant. That means your beliefs are not changed. You got to dig out the beliefs that you're hiding from yourself. There, Night Shroud. He also says, I'd hate to be negative, but there will always be exceptions. Most women don't date guys under 6 feet tall. That is a myth also, Night Shroud. See, you haven't gotten rid of your beliefs. There are guys who are 5'11", 5'10", 5'9". Go outside, even in your small town. Open your eyes and see them. How could you say that? You've got to get out of your house and just walk the streets. See how many guys who are shorter than you who are dating girls. It is not true that most women don't date guys under 6 feet tall. Later. That is not true. I've been to nightclubs. I've seen it. I'd see it on the streets because I'm in this business. So I tend to notice it because I think of you guys. I'm not doing that on my vacation this year, though. I'm not going to videotape some short guy just to make somebody feel good. And it doesn't last. You know, I don't ruin my vacation because I'm working. I'm not going to do that shit. If you guys can't handle the truth, then you have to work on it yourself. Go away. I kind of like Finn on his own character, but the Star Wars movie mostly seemed like the point was to push feminism, where the white girl is amazingly good at everything in spite of having no experience or knowledge. White girl savior. Yeah, I can agree with that also. Obviously, you know, white supremacy was rampant throughout the movie. You white folks don't realize, you know, what a bubble that you live in. You don't even see it until someone like, you know, us, a black dude, points it out to you. Now that you see it, though, and you know how black people are treated, why don't you do something about it? To sit there and do nothing is to agree with it, by the way, on some level. It's okay for black kids to be shot down. Then you agree with that? Let's not get too political here, though. Let's get back on point. Hey, it's a black guy. Suicide Squad is more anti-hero than villain. I've always liked anti-heroes. I've never liked anti-heroes because I don't have any kind of. I've gotten rid of most of the negativity that's in me, so I don't vibe for the. I think you're the negative dude. I like badasses, guys who are just badasses. And I like the movies where they get him out of jail and he does, you know, that kind of thing. I guess that's an anti-hero, so maybe there is a part of me that likes that. I've got to think about it some more. The people that I admire, like there's a movie coming out, The Mechanic. You know, that I read the book. I read the original book. Okay. That whole video series started from. And I liked the character in the book. He was an assassin and blah, blah, blah. They made a movie about it. I watched the movie. Enjoyed the movie a lot. And I enjoyed the remake of it. You guys are watching the remakes. There's actually an original movie. Go look for that. They're neither good or bad. Just guys who are doing their own thing. They can either help out the heroes or villains. No, I wouldn't help out villains. That's not the kind of character that I like. My favorite hero is Frank Castle from Marvel. Their best movie was Punisher, 1989. Let's see. Was that movie that old? Huh. 89, shit. Because I watch that every now and then. The Frank Castle, yeah. Maybe so. No, it can't be, man. Damn, time's flown. 89, I was still young. I'll have to look for The Punisher 1989. Maybe I missed the movie. I'm going to go and look on YouTube real quick, fellas. I got to see what this one is. Maybe meant 1999. That I could see. Oh. Oh. Yeah. I remember that. Didn't like it. That's one where you wore the metal. Let me see. I got better look at one of the scenes. It's an actor you don't see very much anymore. I'm watching the scene of the movie.
Hello, Frank. How you been?
I think I'm gonna download this and rewatch it.
Busy.
So I can give you my comments on it. So let's move on in our comments. Hey, it's a night shroud. Yeah, I watched Suicide Squad. While yes, they were all bad guys, they end up doing the right thing for themselves. Hey, it's a black guy. I think a lot of white guys and non-blacks relate more to Coach Corey. Yeah, I agree. He appeals more to their crowd, but you're universal in your teachings. However, I stick to you and Tariq Nasheed because I can relate more to the streets and the ghetto. More, I guess. Thing is, I've never been to the ghetto. I'm lower middle class American. I guess I grew up around that environment, so the pimp, hustler, Mac stuff is what I see a lot. Yeah, that is in the lower middle class as well. Just my 2 cents. We'll ignore Curtis's bumbling. Oh, he's used his mobile phone. That's why. You couldn't see the link in the video. I gave you guys a free podcast show. Enjoy it. Leon Anthony, great show. Thank you. In the last show that I did. He also says, I can see the player in your face, man, and the confidence over the video I put up, me at 42. Brofist, I lost weight and got a little buff at the gym. I am working and I study for university. My goals are more important than women, and I forgave my ex deep down inside. It's time to move on and try to stay positive. There you go. Now you're talking. Maybe I will pull females one day. Any tips? Yeah, stick around here. Study what I teach. Know that you don't want to chase after a female. Let her choose up by giving you eye contact. If she gives you eye contact, that means she likes what she sees. Step over and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Open her up, get the conversation going, invite her to coffee, and get a life story over coffee. Okay? From that, you're a dater, so set up a dinner date. After dinner date, go back to your place, pull her home, and bone her. Easy peasy. It really is. It's you guys who make it complicated. You complicate the simple. I don't know if that's because of your brains. I've noticed that there's, a weirdness to a lot of the brains here. You do weird things. Eric, you're going down the path where you shouldn't be going down at your age, and you want to study all this stuff, and you should be worried about getting a girlfriend. That's your only priority. Then study that stuff. The two of you together, you'll enjoy it more. But it's almost like you really don't want pussy. And you do everything you can to sabotage yourselves. just so that you can struggle. Your addiction is to struggling. That's what it seems like to me. RS the Juice, hey Supreme. You ever think about making titles for your videos so the keywords pop up? Yes, I've done that before on videos that I want ranked. Yes, I do. The titles I use is because I want them showing up under Player Supreme, so that if you go to my blog, you'll see why. I can pull all of my videos on the front page now. K Grease. Your channel would be so much better. Okay, let's see. Maybe he's responding to RS Juice. There's a statement there. Would be so much better and would grow more if you focus more on, dealing with women. More on dealing with women, becoming a man, and topics of that nature. All the talk about different races, culture, and Black Lives Matter is irrelevant to becoming a man. This is obviously someone who doesn't see the truth. I'm working with black males here, not just one race of males. And also, current topics are important to men. Maybe not males, but they're important to men. All the negative comments about whites and Caucasians not going to help your channel grow any. Excuse me if you take my comments as negative. I give the brutal truth, just like I give the brutal truth of blacks. We're all aware that there's racism problem against blacks today, but you're not going to solve hate with hate, my brother. Thank you for the comment. Sorry you interpret that way, but as you guys, my guys know that I just give the brutal truth. Let's see. Last time I checked his channel, if he wants it to grow, that's him. You can't really tell another man what to do exactly. And I'm going to actually grow my channel starting this week. I'm going to start advertising. In fact, when I finish this, I'm going back there to finish setting up the ad for that. But he does have an important point. If I were to be just, leave all this stuff alone and not deal with, the issues that blacks who are also in the game. See, what a lot of white folks don't realize, that there are black people who are in the game too. And I have more than just one race of people. So these are important issues to them. So anyway, if I did that, how can I help my black brothers out there make it through life? Because my channel is not just about dealing with women. When you become a man, a real man, you're focused on your purpose in life, okay? You're focused on building your confidence as a man. You're focused on all the things that men are focused on, real men focus on. And that's what makes you become a real man. If I didn't talk about finding your purpose in life, if I didn't talk about life in general, teach you how to go out there and work the world so that you can become successful. That's what I'm about. Not with just pussy. When you focus on just pussy, you become one of the lower life forms, a low type of male. And that's not what I want. Real men. Actually, you cannot get a consultation for $50. My consultations are $200 and it covers 4. I cannot do anything with just one session. I need more than one session to do that. I know that if I stop talking about that, you Caucasian people, you guys would feel better. You would feel good. And you want to be brought up about, like my knowledge of history of Europe and all that. It would make you feel better. I do know that. Crown Chaser. I'm 35. I have no life. I've never had a woman and going nowhere in life. See what I mean? And he's black. I'm a lifetime loser. and never succeed at anything. I'm poor and I'm unattractive, both inside and out. And I'm a definitive absolute loser. I'm weak and defeated. And while I've been diagnosed with bipolar, this is where all the shit's coming from, is bipolar shit. Had a lonely childhood, no friends, and I know it's all my fault in the end. I've been watching you for years because you are very entertaining and agree with virtually everything you preach. I don't know what you could do to help a lifer of self-induced losing, but if you can help, I'll do the work. All right. You have a bunch of limiting beliefs that have formed your whole persona, your whole life story, your whole life belief. And I want you to write every one of your limiting beliefs down over the next 2 days. Take your time. Spend an hour here, hour there, but write them all down. That goes for everybody. When you come back, we're going to take a look at one of those, like I did with my boy Nate on my channel or on my site. Okay, that's enough of the comments. I often do think of just teaching, but I can't. I want to teach you guys to become real men. Comments in the shout box. You jelly, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. No one will date you because you're a certain height. That's a mindset of a weak person to think. Nikolai. Hey player, let me ask you something. What's up with women choosing the club, and when I try to take their hand and pull them to the dance floor, they don't go? It's probably the way you're presenting yourself. Okay. Try grabbing them by, or holding their hand and say, hey, would you like to dance? Try doing that next time, see what happens. Let me know. Supreme, what the fuck? Enjoy your vacation and get away from the bullshit. Please enjoy yourself for once. Tracy Jackson, Supreme, being a man at my last work got me fired. The whole company was ran by women and never saw one male manager there. The company was ran like shit, and every time we would be busy, the whole work energy felt panicky. I would say and do things to make work easier for people, and I felt like the women managers made the workers feel like slaves. Let me not even finish that. Okay, so do you know what a real man is and how a real man acts, first of all? Do you know what a real man is and how a real man acts? You may have thought you were acting, masculine and all that. A real man would look around and see a bunch of females, and he would know that he has to schmooze them. It's not about looking down your nose at them at work or coming off all bruff and guff, because bitches will start complaining quickly on you, especially if it's a work environment like that. They start to develop. When you get a bunch of women together like that, they start becoming feminists, even if they weren't before that. They start adopting feministic behavior. And they're looking at you, the only male around, and they know that you need to go. A real man is not going to want to work in that environment also. Okay? So study what a real man is and what he does and how he lives his life. I have a good product on that. 8 steps to become the real man. You Jelly Tracy, sounds like you need to create a business. Exactly. You need to get out of there. Well, he did get out of there. They fired him. Trust, man, I'm the type of person who needs to work for myself. I can't take orders. There it comes out. See? I bet you when he was given order by these women, he probably had a certain look on his face he wasn't even aware of. And they got tired of seeing that look. Mario Lowe. Hey, what's up, Mario? I'm a little behind, but Ghetto and Streets, really? Brian Williams, Player Supreme. What's up, Brian? Player Supreme, what should I do to have sex with over 100 women. Learn to seduce women. When you learn to seduce women, you can set the limit as high as you want to. I replied to your Facebook message with my email. You jelly said, okay. I don't go on that often. I made sure I went on there just to get to send you that message. So I'll go get your email. Now I'm sending you. Is it true? I'll talk to you on the email. I don't want other people spamming me and slamming me. Books for a Better Life. Great show, brother. I watch every day. Well, thank you very much, Books. Weren't you going to have me on your show? Hold on, the cat's coming in. Oh, it's the fat one. Right back, gotta throw some food in this dish too. The reason why I do this stuff is because I want you guys to know that I'm just a real person. I'm not gonna stand behind a screen behind me with stuff, all over it. I'm a real person. I live a real life. Hold on. I even take medicine. A real man with real life issues. We have 2 cats. They like to be fed. Brian, you just stated one of my pet peeves also. I hate when guys say, I'm only being chosen by average women instead of the hot ones. Sorry to come down like that, but that's one of my pet peeves. Be grateful. By the way, Brian, that's your level of dating. I'm sorry. So start fucking the average ones and start working on yourself so you can attract hotter chicks as you develop. But don't stay with your hand, okay? Start dating actual women. Fucking actual women. Because a man needs pussy. Or a man should have pussy. Grand Admirals, average is better than the gross. Exactly. Thank you. Supreme, what do you think of MGTOW? I'm not going to mention MGTOW because they start trolling me. So I don't feel like being trolled. And I'm sorry that you're into that. If you're into that there, Brian, I'm really sorry. That's all I can say about it. Since I've been online, I've seen the weirdest groups. No, I'm not even saying anything. Supreme, there's a book that's really awesome I read, and it helped me become more of a leader and knowing how to have them do what you want. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yeah. Read that in high school. No, I'm not into MGTOW. They remind me of pickup artists. They don't remind me of pickup artists. They remind me of guys who are very, very negative. And never heard of the BWGT, the black women going their own way either. Never heard of that. But that really pisses me off too. It's black guy that blacks are following that nonsense. They remind me of people who are so frustrated in their lives and all they can see is the negativity. So drug addicts hang out together. People who are very negative, they find each other also. And they form these groups online, these new movements. And I don't deal with anything that starts in negativity. I tried the PUA routines and it sounds weird. It is weird. Nikolai, do you still eat the primal paleo way? If so, how does it work for you? See the benefits? No, I don't. Every day for breakfast, I have a very small bowl of oatmeal with 3 strawberries in it and 2 Splendas. And I put a little bit of low-fat milk in it. For snack, I have a protein bar in between. Lunch, I have scrambled egg whites every day. Lately, I've been putting some shrimp in there and trying to make it into a watered-down omelet. But I also put onions in there, and well, Jovina does for me. If I don't make it, I actually can cook, but I prefer to have her cook the cooking for me, with spinach in it. Dinner is where it gets a little different. We'll have salad with chicken on top. Tonight we're having fish. She fries it in olive oil. No breadings, just seasoning. And we'll probably have, she does the green squash grilled or asparagus, which is asparagus, grilled or something like that, or even a salad on the side. Other days, let's see, dinner is usually something different. It's usually a protein and a veggie. So that is kind of like the caveman, but caveman is really high protein, which I think I'm going to have to amp up my protein because my muscles are not repairing themselves. I still have an injury. That could be because of my medical issue, but you heal slower. I don't know. Supreme, a book I just started reading, just full of solid, real life business information, how to become more than a business leader, and shows you the way to become an entrepreneur. Brian, I quit hoe chasing. Hoe chasing cause conflicts. Yeah, you gotta let the females choose. If you can swim upstream in the rapids to land a pussy, and you'll get a piece of pussy here, then start swimming again, struggle, and get another piece of pussy. Or you can float downstream to land a pussy. PUA normal style is the struggle. Get a piece of pussy and hold on to it. That's the normal way. Wife it up because you're getting pussy. And she dumps you, you get out there, you start struggling again. Or you get married to her, she divorces you, you get out in the stream, you start struggling again. Instead, I like to float downstream. See, I don't need to have the hottest female you've ever seen. Above average is good enough for me. Fuckable is good enough for me. I've attracted hot chicks, but fuckable is good enough for me. Okay? My dick doesn't discriminate like that. Now, unfuckable type chicks, no, I won't fuck them. You know, my dick deserves better than that. But my dick also deserves to get wet. Instead of a dry fuck that you guys are doing. Many of you. Supreme won't let me link websites. I'm trying to link the book for you. Send it to my Facebook. I can get it there later on. Books for a Better Life. In my town, I have seen in the past 2 weeks actual dwarfs who had more than average looking women. Wow. Those women were much taller. Of course they were. These guys were legal dwarfs. You short guys, stop bitching. So you've seen actual dwarfs. I saw one. He was actually a midget. And he had a girlfriend. I was just talking about that yesterday. There's a part. See, again, I got to bring up the race thing. There's a part of California up in the mountains where I was going camping called Ice House. Look it up. Ice House. And that's where, a lot of the pot growers are up there and all that kind of shit. A lot of rednecks. And there's a bar that was up there that I went to with Jovina. See, I'm not a racist. I'm not racial against white folks. I'm not afraid to go to a redneck bar when I'm camping. I have my best friend's white. So I go to this bar and there was a midget in there with a girl with them. Like, wow. What is the legal term or the new term for midgets? I know there's, new terms for biracial instead of mulatto. Player Supreme, how do I challenge women? Well, first of all, why would you want to? That's some shit you heard from the PUA community. You got to challenge them. Why would you want to challenge them? Why don't you go fuck them instead? No, seriously. Why don't you go fuck them instead? Why would you waste your time doing something like that? I just want to hear your answer. Why do you want to challenge women? The way your personality is should be enough of a challenge to a woman. You shouldn't go into something like I was trying to tell the fella I had a falling out with, Modern Life Dating. He was want to do something similar to females, and I said, why would you want to do that? Your personality should already create that. You should have the kind of personality there already is a challenge. If you're going in there with an idea, okay, I'm going to challenge her, you will fuck it up. You will fuck it up. It should already be in your personality. Does that make sense? Is there any sense to approach a girl if she don't make eye contact? Damien, as I talked about, Damien, listen very carefully. Okay, I'm going to say this just one more time. You can float or you could swim and struggle upstream, because that's what you're talking about. Girl doesn't make eye contact. You can swim upstream, struggle against the rapids, and maybe get to a small rock. Small rock would be a girl say, yeah, I'll fuck you. And you stay there for a while. Yeah, it might work if you struggle hard enough. You might find one to where you can land on the rock. Let's say you're swimming upstream. Every rock suddenly disappears when you get there. You try to hold on to it. That's you trying to, talk to her. You run up to her like a little puppy dog, your ass waggling. You try talking to her, skipping around. Trying to convince her to fuck you, because that's what you're trying to do, right? You just want to fuck her. You don't want to take care of her. You don't want to do all the stuff that women want. You just want to fuck her, and she knows that. So you can struggle like that, or you can float downstream and let that bitch choose first. If she ain't choosing, she's not interested. If she doesn't give you eye contact, she's not interested. Don't think she hasn't seen you. A lot of guys tried that one on me. Well, maybe she is. You idiot. Women know, they're very aware of their environments. If you're in a venue, she doesn't seen you. There is a sense to approach a girl like that if you want to struggle. Okay? If you're okay with struggling and pressure and stress and rejection, knock yourself out. But my channel's not the channel for you, because you'll come in and you'll ask a struggle question, and I'll put you on blast. I don't do struggle questions. How can I get better at hoe chasing? The same stuff I already teach. Learn to have a conversation with a bitch. Learn to dress well. Learn to build your confidence. They like confident dudes. What else? Learn to have sexual prowess in bed. Learn to be a real man, because they love men. They love real men. That works on both sides of the fence. Good, Brian. I'm glad it makes sense. Renzo X, hey Supreme, what's the metaphysics of being a player, pimp, and Mac? What are you really asking me? A pimp has reached a high level of confidence. He is tapped into the flow. His goal is money. He provides, it's a business. He provides a product, which is sex. A Mac, he has reached a high level of flow with women, a high level of understanding and control. It all three of these, a real player, not one of these black dudes that has a girlfriend and cheats on her type of player, but a real master player has control of himself, just like a pimp does and a Mac does. You learn self-control first. The metaphysics, as we know that life is about learning lessons, because that's what metaphysics is really about, learn your life lessons. The metaphysics of a player. I went through this years ago. All I'm going to do is hurt these girls. All I'm doing is hurting girls. If it wasn't me, it would be someone worse than me. Because I know that I actually have a good heart. Okay? I knew that I had a good heart. And I actually bettered the females that I was with. After me and then some therapy, they didn't date guys like me anymore. They woke up and found someone decent. Supreme, what do you think of Gunplay? The rapper pimp guy you spoke. Gunplay? I don't know Gunplay. What do you think of Gunplay? Who's Gunplay? I don't even know a Gunplay. You must have misunderstood me. If I showed a picture of some dude, I don't even know who they are. Refresh my memory. I don't know a Gunplay. Also, I don't, as I told you, I'm not into the current corporate rap scene. Again, see to that fellow that said I can't talk about, he doesn't want me to talk about, white folks. All the white folks control the rap industry. And they gave these rappers those rules I talked about. Don't talk about white people, don't talk about fags, don't talk about Jews, and don't talk about the police. Do talk about each other, do try to destroy each other, do talk about drugs, do talk about all the stuff. They control it. And it destroyed our community. Remember, I'm 57. I lived through this while you guys were little kids riding your Hot Wheels. I observed this going on. Okay, you got to remember that. I'm 57 years of age. I witnessed this. Let's see, where was I? Well, I gathered that, Brian, that he's a rapper. Also, Supreme, how come guys don't understand that women are human as well? I think some of the males that come here are so stuck in their heads that so programmed also that they have trouble being human beings themselves. And I notice a lot of males that come to my channel, they start to become more human. Recognize that, women are human beings too. Because I'm always saying it. I say enough times that they start to understand it. Renzo, hey Supreme, how do you gain self-control? That's a question I cannot answer in just one video. One way that you can start that is start to self-observe yourself. And whenever you see yourself doing something you don't like, observe it. And then control it and stop it. For me, it's a matter of willpower also. Learn to develop your willpower. Start with something small. Like don't jack off for 3 days. You start to exercise that muscle called willpower. It will grow stronger. Okay. Tracy, you PUA guys just shout you want to fuck them, but you don't say it whilst players do. Not sure I understand that statement there, Tracy Jackson. Someone said my shows are too long. That's a person with a short attention span. If you're interested in the subject, they're not long enough. That's the truth. So I try to keep my shows long, these types of shows, so that I can help weed out the people that have short attention spans. I can't work with that. I only want to work with men. So I'm trying to either show you how to be a man or help weed out the guys who don't have the potential to become men. Nice guys finish last. That is a blatant non-truth. Nice guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. Yeah, nice guys do finish last. I'm looking at it and I didn't comprehend what you're saying. Yeah, nice guys finish last. It's amazing how you read sometimes and not really comprehend the words. Players let girls know they want to fuck, and they let the girls know we're gonna fuck. Yes. Supreme, do you have a lot of masculine sexual energy? Sorry. Supreme, does having a lot of masculine and sexual energy make you an alpha? No, it doesn't. Alpha males are a trait from mankind's history, back when the caveman days and stuff like that, where the energy of man needed a certain energetic type that would be able to think a little bit faster in times of danger without getting all stressed out and upset. That fight or flight syndrome. When mankind needed good, strong leaders. And there are only a few alpha males born. They have extra, as they say, chromosome. What was it, XY? They have an extra one of those chromosomes. So what you're talking about is the fake alpha. I'm going to act alpha today. No, just we're focused on being a real man. Fuck that alpha shit. You're either born one or you're not. Masculine and sexual energy is what I did. It makes you a good seducer because women love that. Masculine energy, by the way, is sexual energy. Add temper to that sensual energy and that'll make you a damn good seducer. Tracy, I don't think nice guys are nice guys, though. They're not. Brian says, I used to be a nice guy. I used to be needy. Thank God Michael Nolan isn't here. Get off on the subject. Blocked by channel blacklist. Who blocked Brian? The PUA fake alpha, yeah. So you can only be born in alpha, yes. These guys who are selling that shit online are trying to take advantage of your naiveness and sell you some alpha shit. In fact, I was just reading a book this morning. I just cracked it open on alpha male. And it's something that you're born to. What they really should have renamed that book was Real Men. But people won't buy it in this community if it doesn't say alpha. Because they'll be like, they think the jocks are alpha. Because the jocks got a lot of chicks. And they get sold that shit. Oh, I didn't know you were black, Brian. Yeah, PUA game does not work on black women. The blacks who delved into PUA, they're the type that only want white women. They wouldn't date one of their own. Grand says, doesn't work for black men trying to get non-black women either. Yeah, it doesn't work for us either. Because when a woman wants a black man, she wants a black man. When you try PUA, you seem like an Uncle Tom, saying some Uncle Tom shit. You know, they're not even supposed to come out of our culture. They want the black culture. They want to experience blackness. Supreme, how come, again, I just talked about race, as I'm trying to point out to the guy earlier. There's more than one race here. The only race, I know black and white, I don't know Asian culture. We all know white culture because that's the dominant culture and it's rammed down our throats. So that's a blatant truth right there. Supreme, how come black women in clubs act all extra as in they overly do the sexy thing? Because that's black women. They know it works on black males. Again, I have to talk about race and the differences. Black males tend to be very aggressive. Not the ones that come online, but the black males in the clubs. They're hyper aggressive, like a lot of masculine Latinos. So to attract that hyper aggressive, hypersexual black male, she does that. RBF, I'm a white guy who likes black women. With PUA, no, we're not. Black women like a white guy with an edge. Okay, you know black culture. You can speak the lingo a little bit. If you're going for the harder type of sisters, if you're going for the college educated black woman, all you gotta do is be yourself. Because if she's dating white, then she wants a white man. Okay, with a little bit of flavor. If you get a little bit of flavor to you, don't be like the guy that's in the movie that we talked about earlier, the anti-hero movie, Suicide Squad. The guy that's the captain who's dating the witch. He's a wigger, okay? He will always be a wigger because every film I've seen him in, he plays his own personality. Notice how it's natural to him, even of his lip thing. And that's too much flavor. Okay, you got to back off from that. Study his character. He was in a TV show playing a cop, and he was a drug addict in the cop. He always gets typecast as a drug addict because I'm sure that's the world he came from. He definitely came from hanging out with a lot of blacks and study black culture and all that. You know, he fits in with us. He can talk our language. But the women that will date a white guy, they want a white guy. It makes your credits good too, brother. Do you think a fun park would be a nice place to take a woman on a date without spending a lot of money? Are you serious, A, as a black guy? Okay, let me try to think like a dater. Yes, I think it would be fun if she likes to ride rides. If you don't like rides, then it's a bomb. So you're gonna do the dating thing? How about a cup of coffee or take it out for a drink and hey, let's go back to my place. I know you date white chicks. Hey, it's a black guy, correct? I get this feeling. Grand Admirals, true that, Player Supreme. The sad thing is many of these non-black women going for black guys are very tacky or associate black with tacky. I went for educated white chicks. They weren't tacky. I know that there are, the ghetto white chicks. Again, I have to talk about race here to that guy. You see how ridiculous your statement is? There are more than one race coming here. And what I got to say, it's going to make some white women look bad. But it's the truth. I give it in all fairness. And there are trashy white chicks that hang out in black clubs. There was one chick that tried to add to my private Facebook. Alfonso, that was the wrong account. If you're going to look for me on Facebook, it's under Zen Space Mac, but I won't add you. I'm going to form a group again because I only want to see African history stuff on there. I have a bunch of fan pages I belong to for African history and black consciousness. And when you guys get added, you start posting silly shit like what I'm eating. That just blocks what I'm trying to look for. So I had Raul go through and unfriend everybody that was doing all that. There were women in there. I did something, as I go off on this tangent real quick, the cause for all these people wanted to add to me. I clicked something and did something and a couple of years ago, and I got thousands of people on that damn account, which is not what I wanted. There's women on there and shit. And I'm the one to add them because I kept getting them like 20 a day. Click, 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 click. If I didn't go in there a couple days, it'll be like 100 in there. So anyway, let me just bring it back on the point. Trashy white women that only want black dudes are not the type I like, because they'll try to talk that wigger talk, and that just irritates me. So I guess that's what you're referring to, is those types of tacky chicks. And yeah, that type, when they do that, they're actually being racist, and they don't even realize it, because they're thinking that I talk that lingo. Have you guys ever heard me talk some urban shit? I can't even impersonate it, but I'm not trying to be Uncle Tom here, but I don't know. So I always try to deal with women that had degrees. Like the belly dancer, believe it or not, she had 2 degrees, and she's going for a 3rd degree. She was a serious egghead with a body. Artistic Johnson. You always want to keep a level of professionalism at work. It's part of being a man. Simp. Being a man, and then exclamation mark. Then he puts the word simp. I always spell SYMP. Mitchell Welsh. Hey, player, what's up? With females preach chivalry and shit on guys for lack of game of being nice. I witnessed this so-called bad chick preaching BS on Facebook. She mentions bring flowers, LOL. Yeah. We don't even go there and talk about that one, man. Okay. I've got to catch up. Grand Admirals, that white boy can sing. What white boy? And excuse me for I just read it. I didn't think. What white guy? RBF. I'm not looking for college-educated black women. Oh. You like the deep chocolate, huh? You want that real shit. The ghetto chicks. You gotta be hard. Step to the Ghetto Sisters. You gotta have that edge. So the guy that's I've talked about, you want to emulate him. Go back and watch that entire TV show. You can probably buy it on DVD or download it. And I don't recall the name of it. I'm sure someone here remembers it. But, or just look him up. His acting history. You got to be hard because they're used to hard black men. You're going to be hard pressed to find one that's going to date you though, because that's not the programming to date white guys started back in the late 90s. They start putting out movies, and they start. If you notice, they actually showed on TV commercials now. That's mental programming that's being done to the black race, so that white men have access to more black pussy. And again, I give you guys the brutal truth. I'm not going to keep defending myself. I'm just kind of trying to make this guy see the truth. So that programming has not reached the ghetto chicks yet. They're hardcore black. If they brought a white guy to a club, they can't bring a white guy to a club like that, who's prim and proper. I don't know if you're a wigger type, if you got some edge to you, or if you're just a ordinary white guy. Ordinary white guy, you can't go to a hardcore black club. You got to have an edge. Think of it like a biker bar. There's one of my guys on my forum who's obsessed with biker bars, and he thinks they're the Uber of masculinity. Biker bars, okay? The guy that stole Marvin Gaye's song, forgot his name. Oh, okay. I didn't realize someone redid one of his songs. So RBF says so. Brian Williams, can a black guy go into a white night? And I did, and pull white women. I did. That's why I went and got my women. At America Live, I went to the white section upstairs. The blacks were downstairs, hip hop. You segregate by music. Well, I taught aerobics, so I'm used to faster music. I could move way faster than the beat they were playing, which was 125 to 130. Dance music, Madonna type shit. Instead of hip hop is really slow. Hip hop has slowed black people's brains out. By the way, you tend to train with the music. If it's violent rock music, your mind becomes more violent. Rap music, because it's a beat slow, it slows you down. And then they smoke weed, and they slow down even more. My race got destroyed with weed. We can't do shit now because we all smoke weed. I don't smoke weed, but most blacks do, and I'm sure there are a lot of blacks watching me right now. You smoke weed. You're a weed head. Oh, but Supreme, it helps me think. Oh, but Supreme, it helps me become creative. Who knows how creative and how well you think if you got rid of the shit, dumbass. And you make us look bad. So don't tell me about shit. Here's a black guy. No, I saw sisters, but I like sisters, but white women are all right. Okay. For some reason, I thought you would be the type to be into white chicks. Because you're using hey, it's a black guy. One of those type of brothers. You try to minimize being black in your head by shouting out, hey, it's a black guy. Something tells me that you might be the type that might have some racial low self-esteem going on. Is that true? And be honest, I had it. I got rid of it. I love sisters too. Brian Williams, I like thick white women. I love thick white women too. I like thick. I also like any type of woman that's like an ex-gymnast that got soft. And their butt grew big. They're like shorter, stocky, thick legs, smaller through the upper body, like Italian chicks. They just have leaner upper bodies, but they're curvy at the bottom. That's just a type. Grant says the gray girls. Y'all says Iceman called them. As Iceman called them, gray girls. RB. What about a cheap fast food date instead of coffee? I don't like coffee. Do you like Coca-Cola? Get a Coke. By the way, if you're dating ghetto bitches, they'll be happy to go to McDonald's. Actually, those ghetto bitches are like the worst. Give me some Dom Perignon. They can't even say the name. Some scrimps. But seriously, fast food, that's pretty fucking cheap, man. That's pretty fucking cheap. You can go on a Jamba Juice date. You like Jamba Juice, which is one of those, energy drinks they sell out there. They have stores all over, but under different names. Why do people think when I say coffee that you got to drink coffee? There's mochas. I used to drink something called a Kona mocha many years ago. Oh, fuck, man, shit. I'm starting to have sugar cravings again. Shit. Hold on. Sorry, I thought there was a dog in my backyard because there's a Asian grow house next door to me where they grow weed in there. They put a big fence around it, and they have these German shepherds that barked all fucking night, and they finally got rid of them. And they hadn't been a dog back there in a while, and it was actually in their yard, so sorry about that. Again, I'm a real man. I'm not going to stand up before something and put on fake shit. You see my real life. You see me eat lunch. Let's see. They have that shit here in Asia too. Tracy Jackson, Supreme. My dad is married to a fat white woman. And he does all the cooking and cleaning. He's still manly, but she pays the bills and everything. So they have a trade-off. They have a symbiotic relationship. And your dad probably likes to do those things. Renzo, Supreme. I increased my masculine energy to a high level. And I notice a lot of women ask me, why am I always looking so serious? Or you look mad, this or that. Then you didn't increase it to the right level. You probably worked out so hard that you're all swole and angry looking and all buffed. And then you think being a man is to have a serious face. I used to hate, I always went that same thing at one time when I went to the club. Again, I got to talk about race because this is what happened from my life experience. You know, these blonde, it was always blondes. First, they want to rub my bald head. I don't know what it is about blondes and bald, black-headed men, but they come and go, I hated that. You don't control me, bitch. Because I would have such a serious look. You know, I guess I'm in a white club and there's this big black guy looking stern in there. But the chicks that like the stern black dude, because he had some sick fantasies, it was okay for them. Tracy Jackson. I kind of resent the fact how life is. Of course, I love my dad, but I feel like he's doing himself wrong. You know, I kind of know what you're going through. My dad believed in, you know, for females, you got to have a lot of money. He was one of those, he's from the old school where they paid. And he was tricking out to women before he passed on. So I didn't like that either. My dad has always been there for me. As a kid, he fought for me. He fought for you in court, so I can't fault him as a dad. No, don't fault your dad. Damn, this shit jumps fast. Grand Admirals, I strongly prefer educated women too. Me too, man. I don't want to really put down my ex, but she had no education. She didn't know anything about anything except, you know, taking care of kids, which that she did very well. But when it came to science, I recall one time, I shared this before, but we were outside and I was looking at the stars and I looked at her, you know, that brutal head looking up at the stars, those big bug eyes. And I realized, damn, she had big eyes. My poor kids. She's going to bring my kids' intelligence down or something. If she sees the video, we're already not speaking now. She said something to me that I put on timeout. That's why I've always preferred intelligent women. I would go to the library to try to meet intelligent women in college and also in high school because I read. I wanted to meet intelligent women. So that's why I went to Caucasian clubs. If there was a sister there, then she more than likely she would type that was, you know, like Uncle Tom, but she also was educated pretty well. And I did meet a sister like that. Her dad was he was like a colonel, had been a colonel in the service. He had bought her a condo and shit. She was type with the big titties. RBF, I hate white girls that act black too. Last post was a mistype. What TV show is he talking about? Look up the video, Suicide Squad, and look at the white guy that's on the crew, and look at his acting history. He's the one that talks like a wiggy. You could hear it in his voice. He's got an edge to him, though. It's a black guy. I agree. I grew up around ghetto black females. See, I didn't. I mean the good-looking ones. Yeah, I know. They're like thugs and hard ass. They do. We have our own little spots in Sacramento. Sacramento is a little town. We don't have very many tall buildings. It's all just, I think there's about 5 of them now. But, and I won't go up in them. We do have our areas. You know, we've been on the map. Oak Park. The bitches in Oak Park, hot as fuck. And they got the ghetto booties. That big round ass. They seem to be more attractive than the educated sisters, too. It's like the educated ones, they don't have nothing going for them, so they go for fucking education, it seems like. Has anyone else noticed that? I've seen some pretty educated ones, but the majority seem like they're just average. There was a girl that, they remind me that this, as you know, I watch all the videos coming out where police harass black people. There's one black school teacher. You guys seen her? She's butt ugly. Big dry lips. And, you know, her thick glasses. Yeah. That's educated sisters. Not all, though. Let's see. Who's the actor? Brian, no, you can't. RBF. There is no clubs in my area. You mean there are no clubs in my area. All the bars, you mean to say, are mostly white with a few black people. Why don't you like your own race? I'm surprised you don't have yellow fever. Why do you want a sister? Do you want to do that Mandingo thing? You the slave master and she's in, and you get to do anything you want with her? Is that your sexual fantasy, brother? I'm only fucking with him. Hey, player, what are your thoughts on porn addiction? Do you think it's destroying me? Yes, I do. I've talked about porn in the past. I've even probably mentioned it today in a negative tone. Every time I bring it up, I always mention it in a negative tone. It ruins your sexual energy. It ruins your masculine energy. It drains you of your... Let's go back to the 16th century, 15th century, where they came up with a word called organic energy. Your orgone. That's your animus energy. It deletes it or pulls it out of your body. Hey, it's a black guy. I have done that in the past because I grew up in the ghetto. I did not know that. You come off as one of the educated brothers, obviously, but that's good. You got education in the ghetto. You must educate yourself also. Am I right or wrong? No Jamba Juice place in my area. Never tried mocha. Okay. Do they have a soda shop? Or just go there and order soda. I think everybody likes Coke or Pepsi or Sprite or something. Some got a Coke you could order. She can get coffee. Or get a bottle of water. Hey, it's a black guy. I find it very hard to keep a good conversation with black females when it comes to politics and intellectual conversation. That's my only... Well, with them, you see, you're trying to, instead of asking them about their life, getting their life story, you're trying to be the intellectual black guy and lord over them with your knowledge. Don't do that. Get their life story. Don't focus on politics. That's like the worst thing you want to bring up, or even an intellectual conversation. A conversation don't have to be intellectual, especially with the women. Talk about what they're into. Watch how fast they start smiling at you. Stan, politics. Stan, find a different topic. Yes. RB, I do like Asian women. Okay, I was just curious. Grand Admirals, same here. Tracy, also porn is making males gay. And the whole she-male porn, that's where I learned about it. I went and looked at it. I see why. When I first got on, I found a porn site and I looked at this she-male shit for for a minute at the thumbnails. These things look like women. Someone posted one on So Suave many years ago. I thought it was a girl. They can fool you now because of the surgeries. Stay away from that. That's just evil. Let me not be biblical. That's just negativity in disguise. They're trying to sucker you in. Because I mean, look how feminized males are now. Adam. Hi, am I right to say that if I lose 30 pounds of excessive weight, it will increase my energy to go out and be more confident? Yes, it will. Adam, I have way more than 30 pounds to lose. Me have belly here. I've got to lose this belly here. That's it. And I've lost 23 now. I'm down 23 pounds. Stan is right. You can be overweight and still go out also. But you'll definitely have more confidence to go out. Yes, you will. And you'll get more choosing. Do you want a girl that's 30 pounds overweight? Or would you prefer one that's within her weight parameters? That could be, plus 10, 15 pounds or minus 10, 15 pounds. There's a parameter there that women can operate in. Excuse me. I like women that have a little bit more meat on them because it makes them more curvy. I like curvy women. Adam says, hell no. Oh, yeah. So keep losing, brother. Keep losing. Stay on it. She-males are a big turnoff to me. I would reject any woman that I knew she had a penis. Thank God for that. The first porno movie I ever saw back when I was in high school, because I looked old, I had a receding hairline. I went to a porn store. I was 17, 16, somewhere in there. Back then they had a little booths where you put the quarters in, and you see the movie and you stand and or sit there and you jack off. That's what it was. I didn't know what I was seeing. There was some big breasted chick with big hips, and I couldn't see it clearly. I said, did I just see a dick hanging down from the guy that's pounding her from behind? They showed him from the front, and then they showed it. And I'm squinted at the damn thing. I didn't have bad eyes back then. I said, what? I ran out of that motherfucker. I didn't know what. I'd never heard of that. I was in high school. I'd never heard of a she-male. I didn't know what I was seeing. It freaked me the fuck out. I didn't even know about gays in high school. Believe it or not. I was such a. You guys are exposed to it growing up. See, back then, they were in the closet. We didn't know about them. I didn't know that Dr. Smith on Lost in Space was a flaming fag. I just thought the way he was acting was funny. And weak. He was like spineless. I thought he was spineless. So I didn't know about homosexuals. I didn't know about any of that shit. They didn't have classes. They don't teach you. There was nothing on TV. Nothing. They kept that shit in the closet. Where I think it should be. And if you watch she-male porn and jerk off, you're gay. Yeah, really. I was already into my shit then too when I finally figured out what was going on. Think about that. What a dick kill. What it freaked me out. I ran out that motherfucker. I stopped going there when some guy asked me if he would like to share a booth. I still didn't know about gays. I knew that we called them punks and zuzus and faggots. In the late 70s, they started having these gay parade things. I said, dude on dude? My brother had used the word queer way back in Japan, called someone a queer, and my father made him look the word up. And so don't ever call. My dad was one of those equal types, his father was Caucasian, so he grew up a different way. He was, one of those everybody's equal type thing. And we never talked about it in the family, though. He had one that actually was singing for him. I didn't know what that was. I said, I couldn't figure out what it was. It was a Polynesian one. Came in my dad owned a band. He was a musician also, besides an accountant. So anyway, there was one that was singing. I thought it was a girl. And then I was paying attention. They would be practicing in the house and in the garage and stuff like that. And I finally realized my mom liked him, and realized that's a dude. Yuck. Anyway, so I didn't know anything about that shit. Let's get back on point. If you watch female porn, jerk off, you're gay. I can't even say she-males are a turnoff. I can't even say she-males are a turnoff? What do you mean by that? Fat women are a turnoff. Women with bad breath and horrendous body odor. Okay, but trannies are fucking disgusting freaks. Abominations. I actually watched a show on their life when I was dating the Mac makeup chick, the young chick. And they said that they have a certain brainstem that's about as long as a woman's. That brainstem allows them to feel emotions like a woman. So they feel like a woman. So I actually understand that, some guys, their brainstem gets fucked up. And men, our brainstem is like a little tiny thing. So we experience a little limited range of emotions, where women, theirs a little bit longer. They experience a lot of emotions. And if you're a male born to experience all those emotions, I try to think about it, from a metaphysical point of view. And metaphysically, and the church, I believe the church does believe in, souls. God puts a soul in a body. The gulf is getting full. And, well, if you believe in reincarnation, bodies are coming back faster and faster. That's what's been going on. Because there's so many people being born. There's so many people dying. So you got to get a soul for these bodies coming in. And if you think about it, if the soul was a girl in the last life, and it can't give it, and it's come back faster before the energy of that woman in the past life has burned off, then it may change the fetus so that brainstem does grow longer. That makes sense to me. So I always try to understand, why are there gays? And I learned about the caveman times where if you fuck a chick, you produce with the mouth to feed. That made sense to me. So they started looking at little boys and little girls. That's where pedophilia started. And once thing, if you know anything about quantum physics, once thing becomes energy, it invades. And once it gets to the energy, the morphic field of man, it'll jump to all races of men. We really got a big dose of it in the black community when we came to this country, because there were slave masters that were butt fucking dudes too. Also, they had slave shacks or slave farms, and you can go there and sex farms as well, and pick what you wanted. A little boy, a grown man, a little girl. That's why the South didn't want to give up slavery also. Plus, it was a moneymaker for them. I know this doesn't make some people feel good, but it's the truth. When you think about it, if you were a white guy and a slave master, and you had all that black pussy out there that you could just do whatever you wanted with, every last one of you guys would do evil shit. I guarantee it. Because absolute power does corrupt absolutely, as they say. You would do shit. You fuck them. Didn't care if she had a husband. You'd make him hold your balls while you fucked her. Shit. Let's get off the subject of gay and she-male shit. I'm in my mid-30s, Jay says. Do you think it's too late for me to learn the game? It's never too late. I started getting good in the game in my early 30s. Before that, I had a crutch that I used. Whenever I used to watch a lot of porn, I had a hard time interacting with people. It makes you depressed, removes vital nutrients you need for your body. It does. You guys are whacking out, makes you increase your zinc, because you're leaking that shit out. Porn is definitely fucking up the game. It destroys your sex drive to the point you won't step up to women. Exactly, Stan. Exactly. That's why a lot of the fellows that are watching me, that's why they don't have a woman. If they stop jacking off, that's you guys who are right here, right now. If you guys stop jacking off, you would become like the werewolf of London because you'd be so fucking horny. Try it for a month and see if you don't start stepping up to females. RF says, is fapping, I don't use weak words. I call it what it is. Is jacking off. See, they try to diminish the word fapping. The fuck is fapping? That's a nerd word. I'm not a nerd. I'm not going to use a nerd's word. Call it what it is. Jacking off. Is jacking off to pictures of nude women as harmful as porn? That is porn. It's just one of the outlets of porn. By the way, those same nude pictures, they sell them in magazines under porn. Okay? Porn isn't just videos. I use a fleshlight. What is a fleshlight? And God damn it, don't freak me out. I'm on the edge, fellas. Come on. I'm struggling. Don't start freaking me out with this shit you guys are doing these days. I swear to God, when I close up, I'm going to run screaming from this community. What the fuck is please say it was a flashlight and a misprint. Like you look at porn. Are you a kid? This channel's for 18 and over. Grand Admiral's Games. Yeah, I saw that in this movie called Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Yeah, you saw the original film, huh? Hey, it's a black guy. The South was making shit tons of money from cotton, hand over fist. Yeah, that's how America got rich. That's how we became the number one nation on the planet, was on slavery, because they made so much money. It made America rich. Serene, what are the basics of being a real man? Go to my store at theplayersupremeshow.info. Okay, click on my store and order the $8 product. I'll teach you all about being a real man. Stan 219, jerking to porn has the worst effects on the mind. Adam, one last thing. How can you recommend any way of losing the habit of overeating? The reason of this 30 pounds of weight thing. Go on a actual diet program. You could join Weight Watchers also. Weight Watchers is very, very good. Actually join the actual meeting, not the online shit, but go to the actual meetings. Hey, it's a black guy. Are you still thinking about the vegan vegetarian? No, I'm not. I do my protein. And I'm not going to do a vegan diet to get that just yet. Actually, you can't. Veggies don't provide enough protein. You have to supplement. A fleshlight is a... Can I get feminine for a moment, fellas? Ew! A fleshlight is a silicone vagina for men to jack off in. Why don't you get a woman? Do you know how fucked up your mind must be mentally by now for having to use an object to fuck? Do you know the association you made in your subconscious mind? The damage you've done to yourself with this shit? Do you have any slight clue of that? And you want a black chick? One of the most realist bitches on the planet? Steeped in the here and now? No nonsense types? That would work better with a white chick. She could jack you off. They're into that kind of stuff. A black chick, no nonsense. Laugh my ass off. Fucking fleshlight. What the fuck, man? Yeah, dude. Bro, Seth, dude. No. Throw that thing away. Go get a woman. Please. Please. Please get a woman. Let me do my Oliver Twist. Please, sir. May I have more? No, I don't know. Obviously don't know. Okay. Your subconscious mind is what controls your outer world, by the way. The junk you put in your subconscious mind comes out in real life. So those limiting beliefs, they sink in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind makes it true. You do know about the subconscious mind. You've heard of that. Everybody's heard of the subconscious mind. One thing people rarely hear of is the supra mind, which is more of your spiritual mind, but your higher self. Okay, so your subconscious mind, it controls your heartbeat, the reason why you breathe. It controls your unconscious mannerism, your autonomic system. So you're telling your subconscious mind that my sex is with this gadget, not with a woman, every time you do that. White Dominican or mixed or black? Which was she? But she was Dominican also. Do you know what she probably really thought in her head? You said okay also. No woman is okay with a man fucking a gadget. Just so you know that. Unless there's something wrong with her upstairs. I disagree with you. Vegan, vegetarian diet. We get a ton of protein from plants, fruits, beans. You added beans to it, yeah? Yeah. The diet has a huge range of good stuff. I was a vegan in high school, and I was lifting a lot of weights. I couldn't get enough protein. I know that there was Bill Pearl. He was a vegan. I don't know if you know what Bill Pearl was. He has a book out called the Encyclopedia. No. Fuck, what's the name of that book? Biggest book on every kind of exercise you could ever think of. Every different technique. Take a pair of dumbbells. You got 50 different ways to do like a lateral raise. In that book. But he also supplemented with steroids. Trace Jackson. If I was to train someone, I would make sure they were not on a vegan diet, because I know with protein, and I know it's dead flesh. That's my one thing I don't like about it. You're eating dead flesh. Like when I'm starving and I get one of those rotisserie chickens from the store, I like them with black on it, well cooked. I get home, I rip the flesh off. I eat that motherfucking flesh. And I eat the meat underneath. That flesh has all that damn seasoning in it. It tastes damn good to me. Because what you don't realize, he's a black guy, in the words of Dave Chappelle, chickens and black folks are very fond of one another. Supreme, I think texting nowadays is bad for men. People around my age, or guys around my age, text women all day long on those damn phones. I agree. It is what it is, though. I'd rather get the woman out of the house. Me too. See them in person. Me too. Mixed, light skin, black. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. But she's also raised in a different culture. She's not an American black chick. American black chick ain't put up with that shit. She's going to talk about you behind you. She's going to talk about you to your face. Then talk about you behind your back. And call all of her girlfriends. You know what this fool pulled out? Expect me to be okay with it? There are some American black chicks that are weird. I actually saw one at the park that I knew from old days. She's the type that didn't like being black. She only dated white guys. She would go to raves. I went to raves back then. I saw her walk around the park. She's older. She's old now. No white man to walk with her. Hey, it's Black. I've had a vegan chicken burger. It tastes way better than the real thing, in my opinion. Yeah, in your opinion, brother. It's actually complete proteins versus the meat, but we're all different. Yes, we are. I think some of us are from a hunter-gatherer gene pool, and our bodies do well on meat, and others are from the farmer gene pool, when mankind started raising grains. Hunter-gatherers, we're only 9% of the population on the planet. During the Middle Ages and before that, this thing called, when mankind started forming these things called villages, and then later on fiefs or towns, they killed off most of the hunter-gatherers because they were roaming around, invading their territory because they didn't know. Yo Supreme 611. Okay, I'll get your message in a second, Kevin. They didn't know about property and stuff like that. So we're only 10% of the planet. I did a test, had to measure my leg bones, my thigh bones, my forearm and upper arm bones, and that's what I came out, which I already knew because I took their written tests also. Hunter-gatherer. What's your opinion on losing virginity to a call girl? I did it that way, so I don't have a problem with it myself, Adam. Just don't get addicted to it. I went back another time after that, and then I decided it's time to get a real woman or an actual girlfriend. By then I was in college, but I wanted to feel it again, that nut. But unfortunately, my first time was with the condom on. Now, you got to wear condoms these days, but there was a period of time where you didn't have to wear a condom, fellas. And the pussy feels good. Unfortunately, because of homosexuals and AIDS, that's the main reason why you have to wear a condom. Then there's the others, STDs that busted out. But that wasn't the main issue. In my days, it was herpes. You were worried about herpes, which came in contact with your skin. You can get on your fucking pube area. AIDS wasn't out. So we were fucking left and right without condoms. Towards the late 90s is when I really started wearing them a lot of times. Unless I made a girl my main. RB. She moved to NYC when she was a child and then she was raised in that culture. Latin. My girlfriend moved from Portugal when she was 9. Tracy Jackson, also Supreme on TV and in the movies. I'm seeing a lot of guys wanting to fuck them and put their thumb in their ass, like in Deadpool. Yeah, I remember that comment. I was like, why did they put that in there? I got to get racial again. I'm sorry to my Caucasian listeners and viewers. I went through a period of time where I was dating these white chicks, and they kept complaining about these white guys that wanted them to put on a strap on and fuck them in the ass. I want to ask a white guy, if he can be honest with me, is that really common within your group? Now, the first person is going to say, because they don't know, if someone actually knows someone that does that. Someone who does that, speak to me. Not someone who doesn't even know anything about it. Because it's actually going on out there. Kevin, Yo Supreme 611, you're here, your old student. Thanks for the hardcore mentoring. I run my own business now and married a good Christian woman. Congratulations, Kevin Freeman. Tracy Jackson, they are trying to get males acceptable to things like that. Yes, I know that. There's a process of the feminization and also the homosexualizing of regular males so that homosexuals have more butts to fuck. They want you to be okay with it. That's why it's in your TV shows. Don't think a homosexual writer did not write that line for him to say. A place like Puerto Rico was one of the richest islands in the world. Some explorers, his black guy sharing with us, talked about little kids playing with diamonds and other jewels. Those people didn't understand the value. RBF, I had a part-time prostitute let me fuck them without a condom. I'm sorry to hear that. I would never fuck a prostitute without a condom because they're more susceptible to diseases. Although if they're letting you do it, who else are they letting do that? Okay, think about that. I would suggest you actually go get an AIDS check right now, RB. He's a black guy of those things and never really cared about manipulating resources. Disgusting what the Spanish did to the Puerto Ricans. On this channel, we do share a history here. Some of you may not like it. Some of you may just think stick to women, stick to talking about the pussy, and that's just not me. Sorry. Find another channel that will do that. Renzo X. Hey, Supreme, what happens when you don't jerk off for a year? You'll probably get laid within that time period. That's what happens. You start getting laid more. Angelo. Damn. Maybe that's why I'm so picky with women. I got to stop watching porn. Exactly. Because if you look at the females in porn, normal chicks don't look like that. They don't wear that much makeup. I got to get busy here in a bit. We've been doing this for an hour and 46 minutes. I like long shows, but not this long. Cream pies. Cream pies. Oh, is that... Yuck. Yuck, get Rand. Busting all kind of nuts. Yeah. Deep inside, those sugar walls. RB. Do you guys read what RB just believes? Falsely believes? He thinks that AIDS only spread through getting fucked up the ass and needle sharing. Can you believe that? I'm sorry, RB. You've been falsely misled. You've been badly falsely misled. You can get AIDS from a woman's vagina. Okay? Let's say she's gone for a period. There's still blood there. Let's say the last John did some damage and ripped her, and he had AIDS. And AIDS will pass through, by the way, the AIDS virus will pass through a condom cell wall. You didn't know that, did you? Final King, I think AIDS was government. The artistic Johnson. I used to hoe chase, but I was told I was handsome. But when I stopped hoe chasing, it's like the more submissive women just showed up and chose. Exactly, artistic. Wait a minute. Are you the brother that signed up for my, that we had a consultation program? Is this your, because I see the beard. Eric Hills. It's true in my school, white males call each other cute. Really? White males in locker room run around naked touching each other's dicks. Really? I have no words, Eric. I'm really sorry you're experiencing that. It was not like that when I was in school. That makes me really, really sad, too. That they're actually winning. It was the Caucasian population that they first, started working on feminizing. That's very true, because you got to remember that white folks are the majority of the people in this country, and they are the dominant race. So you got to start from the top. They have now started implementing this on black males, whole programs to feminize and homosexualize black males. Even Henry Kissinger had a report on that. the idea of homosexualizing black males to reduce the population. The white females are used to it. They keep slapping each other's asses, pretending to fuck each other, as it's seen as a bro thing to do, as not a bro thing. I hate locker room culture, Final King says. I shower and leave immediately. Some guys stay in there for hours. One reason why I need to make a personal gym at home. KR, hoe chasing is a waste of energy. Yes, it is. It can be. And you know what, fellas? I'm on the way out. I've got work to do. I have to reorganize my funnel that I'm working on right now, so I can release my new product. This guy needs a tinfoil hat like the rest of you. LOL. Greg Murray. What guy does, Greg? Okay, you know, Eric, I can't read anymore, man. You're killing me. This really, really deeply saddens me because my life mission is to bring masculinity back to mankind, and I'm not winning. Hell, I'm not even making a dent. It's already 10 o'clock as well. I've got to go work and do that YouTube advertising. So I'll talk to you guys another time. That really killed my buzz there. Later, fellas.